Hey there, and welcome to Module 1 of Impactful Opt-in Fulfillment. This is your course on smooth sailing through the creation process of your offer or your lead magnet. So let's jump in and figure out how to build this thing. Now that you've gone through the 7 secrets for creating your perfect offer or creating your lead magnet, I want to walk you through actually how to build this. So we're going to look at your business, the service or product that you provide, the end result that you're driving towards, the layout and format, actual creation, and then delivery. So I want you to take just a second and get out a piece of paper and a pen, or get out a notepad or Word document, Google Doc, whatever it is that you need. Go ahead and get that out now. And while you're going through this module, please feel free when you need to hit the pause button and then resume watching when you're ready or when you're done writing. We're going to be doing a lot of writing and thinking in this module. The reason that this is module 1 is because the majority of the heavy lifting comes here. This is where the good stuff happens. So let's think about your business. Who are you? What do you do? And what is your business? I want you to write down on your pen and paper, your Google Doc, I am a, and then fill in the blank. The example that I always give is that my mom, my sister, and a couple of cousins of mine have this really incredible luxury of having a job title that pretty much everyone in the world can recognize. That job is that they are nurses. And on top of having an incredible life-saving job, just about everyone in the world, whether in English or another language, knows what the term nurse means. A nurse or a fireman or a lawyer or a doctor or plenty of other jobs out there are what I would consider universally recognized jobs or positions or careers where you say the one title or the one name, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a policeman, and everyone on the planet has some definition, some idea of what that is. For you, and for me as well, we might not have that luxury. If you are a healer or you're a yoga teacher, maybe you are a rep and you sell different products. If you are in digital marketing, which I am, and it's a very new 10 to 15-year-old industry, our job titles aren't common language. Our job title, saying that I am a business success strategist, well, that's not a universally accepted word as nurse or lawyer. So I have to take a bit more time explaining who it is that I am and what it is that I do. So go ahead and write down, I am a whatever it is. Infusionsoft certified partner, I'm a business success strategist. You can even put, what is your business? I own this business, or I am a distributor for this business. What is it that you do? Take a minute if you need to pause. That's fine. Next, let's talk about your product. I want you to write down, do you provide a product or do you provide a service? Every single business, no matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, every single business is either a product or a service. Sometimes you can buy products that are fulfilled as services. Sometimes it's the opposite, but for the most part, you're either going to sell a service or you're going to sell a product. Think about what the result is that you're driving them towards, or the transformation that it is that you're going to give them. If you said, I own a gym and I am a physical therapist or I'm a gym instructor, the result that you're providing or the transformation that you're providing as like a physical therapist would be that you're providing better motion or ease of use with different limbs or with a person's body. If you are a gym owner, maybe you're providing a better looking physique, heightened self-esteem, chiseled abs, whatever it is. You're providing some kind of a resolution to a problem, you're providing some kind of result, or you're providing some kind of transformation. Ultimately, all of those are the exact same thing. And then we want to think about when you are creating this lead magnet, what is the stepping stone that you are using this lead magnet for towards your greater offer? So me, for instance, I have a high dollar mastermind and one-on-one coaching program, and ultimately I'm driving clients towards that. Yes, I have other products. Yes, I have memberships and other services and different things in between, but ultimately that's where kind of the end of my funnel is. I am driving clients towards that product, and my lead magnet and all of the products in between really are stepping stones towards those memberships. You can also think about your lead magnet as a stepping stone towards that transformation that you're providing as well. So take a minute and go ahead and write down, what is that transformation that you're providing? And that's exactly what we're going to look at right now. What is that end result that your product or your service gives? So an example that I like to give is, let's say you are a cupcake baker. The end result that your product, your cupcake, gives to your customer is that maybe it lightens their mood, maybe it gives them a better day, maybe it puts a smile on their face. Or ultimately, I walk into a bake shop and the problem that I have, or the result that I'm seeking, is I'm a person without a cupcake. I walk into a cupcake shop. The transformation that I receive from buying that cupcake is I am now a person who has a cupcake in my hand. And that might sound really simple or really dumbed down or actually kind of funny, but ultimately that's all it is. At its simplest, purest form, we are just providing those things to our customers, or those transformations. As simple or as silly as they might seem, that is what you do. That is the transformation or the result that you're driving towards. And what is the problem that you solve? It's the exact same thing. My problem, walking into a gym, it's funny I'm using gym and cupcake shop as my examples, but let's say I'm either having low self-esteem, or I want to look better, or I want to get ready for the summer, or maybe it's a health thing, maybe it's not a vanity issue or a vanity problem, maybe it's a health issue. My issue is that I want to feel better, and that looking better is, a nice side effect of working out. The problem that I have is perhaps I am hurting, or I don't feel good, or I'm not sleeping well, and exercise is going to transform that feeling. It's going to make me feel better. So I walk into the gym as a person who doesn't feel so great, but then I'm leaving the gym as a person who feels better, a person who gets their problem solved. That's really what you're driving them towards. So let's look at your basic layout. And this really pertains more to the title of your lead magnet, but it's also going to kind of be the way that we outline everything. So the basic layout is some kind of a number. 3 works really, really well, especially when I give this presentation at conferences and at meetings or conventions. I usually only have about 20 or so minutes to go over this material, so 3 tends to be a really, really good simple number, but my lead magnet is 7 secrets, so obviously you can do much more. I really wouldn't go over 10 because 10 is a good solid round number that people can wrap their head around. Anything more than 10 usually feels like too much, it feels like work, but 7 is really good, 8 is a really good number, 5, 3, or even number 1, like the one thing to avoid when you're booking a cruise, or the number one thing, the number one mistake people make when finding a probate attorney, something like that. Those odd numbers, for whatever reason, just tend to stick in people's heads. So 1, 3, 5, 7, those are really, really good numbers. And the way that you're going to lay out your title is your number. So let's do 3 for now. You can always pause this video if you need more time to write things out. So in your Google Doc or on your sheet of paper, let's write out 3 tips, 3 secrets, 3 guidelines, 3 mistakes, if one of those words is resonating with you. Mistakes is a good one because human beings, we're always either moving towards pleasure or we're moving away from pain. And the desire to move away from pain is much, much stronger than our desire to move towards pleasure. So mistakes or something like that, using that negative language, is actually a really good attention grabber when it comes to creating lead magnets. Or actually titling anything. So let's say 3 mistakes for, and then insert your result or insert your transformation. And we just went over all of that. So 3 mistakes to avoid when hiring an attorney. 3 mistakes to avoid when baking cupcakes. 3 mistakes to avoid when you are looking to join a gym, something like that. And if you can, take a minute now to actually write out, just in bullet points or quick sentences, what would those 3 things be? So you know your business really well, you probably know your customer pretty well. What are those 3 things that you would recommend that they avoid, or those 3 mistakes that you would recommend they avoid when doing whatever it is? Go ahead and pause the video now and write those things out. And while you're writing, let's consider format. What is it that you're writing? Ultimately, you want to come up with those bullet points of your 3 mistakes, your 3 tips, your 3 ideas, whatever it is. You do want to write those out in a bullet point form or sentence form of some sort, but you want to think about what is the format that you're actually writing this for. So don't forget, in our 7 secrets, one of the secrets was your lead magnet needs to be in a format that your audience will consume it in. And how do you decide what format your audience is going to consume? You might know already. You might know that the type of clients that you attract, they're readers. They really like reading. And so an ebook or a guide might be really good for them. You might know that your audience likes to watch a video. Maybe you do Facebook Lives and they really enjoy watching you. So you might want to make a video, and therefore a video script or bullet points that you can riff off of might be the best option for you. And if you're not sure yet what kind of format your audience wants to receive that information in, think about it this way. We do business with people that we know, like, and trust. When we attract our ideal customer, we're usually attracting someone similar to ourselves. And so even if you haven't done the research, haven't tested it yet, maybe you're not sure what format or type of media that your audience likes to consume their content in, think about what you like to do. Do you like watching video? I personally really like watching video. I read typically at night when I'm laying in bed. I read fiction for pleasure, and I don't personally like doing a lot of business related or work related reading. That's just me personally. Maybe you do, and that's okay. That's great. And that's great. You might also find that you create this thing in one format and then you need to go back and actually make some adjustments or change it. I created my original lead magnet as a PDF and then handed it out to a couple fellow colleagues, and one of them said, it would be really great if I could get an audio or hear something. So I created the audio version. And then another colleague of mine listened to the audio but said, this would be really great. Like, I keep looking for something to watch. This would be a great video. And so I created it in all three formats so that it appealed to every learning type, but also so that anyone watching could see examples of all three essentially different versions if they wanted to. And your lead magnet doesn't necessarily need to be some kind of media either. A great example of a non-media lead magnet is actually Mrs. Fields cookies. When you're walking through the mall and you walk past the Mrs. Fields cookies kiosk or booth or whatever it is, and you smell that wafting scent of like sugar and chocolate, that's kind of like a lead magnet. That scent is drawing you in and getting you to take notice of the product that they have. That's that at its purest form is a lead magnet. Another one that they have is they will very often have employees with trays of little bites of cookie as free samples standing outside of the kiosk, handing them out to passersby, people that are walking past their kiosk, and they will hand out free samples. That free sample is absolutely a lead magnet. Undoubtedly, that free sample is a lead magnet. So don't feel like just because you aren't in marketing or you aren't in media or maybe you're not a great writer or that's just not your business, don't feel like you have to have a written or media format type of lead magnet. Your lead magnet can absolutely be free samples, it can be a 10% off coupon, it can be a free consultation, it can be anything that creates awareness and attention and gives your customer or your client value up front before the sale so that they can have an example of what it would be like to do business with you and have a result or transformation that would solve their problem. Your lead magnet definitely does not have to be a digital product or any kind of media product or even information. It can be a physical product, it can be a free sample, it can be a 10% off coupon, it can be something like that. It does not have to be media, it does not have to be digitally delivered. Let me remind you about 3 of the tips really quickly so that we can go over a couple of things. Your lead magnet needs to match your mission, the mission of your business. Your lead magnet needs to lead into your offer, and it can be your high dollar offer or it can be the next offer inside of your sales funnel. It can be whatever you want, whatever you're leading them to. And your lead magnet needs to solve one and only one problem. As business owners, it's very easy to get caught up in the curse of knowledge and to know our business really well and to know how other pieces of information or things in our lives can have a bearing on the one problem that you're trying to solve. If the problem that you're going to solve is losing weight, there are many factors to it. You can talk about exercise, you can talk about nutrition, you can talk about how much sleep you get, you can talk about your work style, your work-life balance. All of these things, stress and all of that, it all contributes to it. However, as human beings and as consumers, as potential clients, we can only handle 1 or 2 things at a time. That's why I say keep your secrets, if you're giving a number, keep your secrets less than 10. That's why I say keep your tips less than 10. If you're doing secrets or guides or ideas or tips, whatever it is, keep the number less than 10 because we can only take in so much information at one time. We can only absorb so much information at one time. So you want to be as brief and concise as humanly possible. Now let's talk a little bit about the creation process. I want you to actually write out what those 3 tips are. If you're using the number 3, write out your 3 tips. If you have 7 or 10 or you have a grandiose idea, just start with 3 or maybe start with 5 and just begin that writing process. Begin that creative process to see what actually comes out. You know your business well enough to be able to figure out what those tips are. So go ahead and write those down in sentence format. So I want you to physically write tip number 1, colon or 1 dot, and then first tip for losing weight is this. Second tip for finding a gym is this. Third tip for finding a lawyer is this. However you relate that to your business. And if you want to keep going with 5 or 7 or 10 or whatever tips, you could even go through the exercise of just writing out multiple tips. And even if you come up with 20 or 30 or 50, but you're only going to use 3 or 5, go through that exercise and get in that creative mindset to be able to start building on that, because as you come up with other ideas, more things are going to start to flow and come into your head. So just go through that creative process and start to write out multiple tips, even if you don't use them, even if they're garbage, even if they don't pertain to what you're writing, even if they get off track or kind of dilute your focus a little bit. Just start to go through that creative process to see what comes out of that. In writing my 7 secrets for how to create your lead magnet, I went through multiple iterations of figuring out the language that I wanted to use and the number that I wanted to use. But in going through that creative process, I had to get to the point where I could actually whittle down. I had to get to the point where I had something worthwhile or worth testing. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. In the next video, we're going to go through more exercises on how to do that, and in the next module, I'm going to show you how to hire someone on Upwork or Fiverr to help you create your educational lead magnet. See you on the next video.